Sharma sir, most of the key themes have already been covered, but I think the presentation probably will stitch some of those themes together into a more cohesive document. But probably I'll start. Thank you for that funny video. But essentially, the point that I'm trying to make here is this is the world. This is the world which is the VUCA world, which is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And this is what our kids, our students are going to face day in and day out as they progress in their careers. And how do we really deal with it? If you have noticed the reactions of the kids when they were challenged that I am blind, I am as blind as a bat, and I haven't seen any color, and you have to explain a color to me. How do you explain a color in a different sensory term, which is more touch, which is more feel, but you can't see? And I think the kids took that challenge. They were stunned at the beginning, but they started thinking as to how should I explain that color to this blind person. And I think that's what transferable skills is all about. It's about, we call a lot of these technical jargons design thinking, but this is a real kind of demonstration of design thinking by a probably 4-year or 5-year-old kid. This is what he started doing, that how do I explain a color without to someone who has not seen it? And I think that's the world where we are, and that's the relevance of the skills beyond the standard formal curriculum that students and kids as part of the day-to-day curriculum. Talked about future of skills, about World Economic Forum, and there are a lot of such reports, etc., that have been done on what is the future of skills. I remember back in 2018, Dell Technologies and Institute of Future, they came out with this a very strong narrative that 85% of the jobs of the next decade of 2030 have not yet been discovered. And if you look at the future of skills, these are the top 9 skills that World Economics Forum Future of Skill report talked about last year. And if you look at, just scroll down on all these skills, none of them are domain skills. They are all about design thinking, analytical reasoning, perseverance, digital awareness. None of them are actually domain skills, because what is important is, along with your domain knowledge, which continues to update over a period of time, you need certain set of skills that you can transfer from one context to another, one job to another, one lifestyle to another lifestyle. And that's what will remain with you. That's what will continue to with you. The way we paraphrase at ETS is and in India especially, our learning is towards a focused earning. We are learning to earn. We are not learning to think. We are not learning to think. And if that thought process, if that ability to think, if that ability to question is something that is taught to us as part of the learning process, as part of our school curriculum, I think there will be a lot more value that our students can bring to the table as they kind of move in their careers. Create the pedagogical and curriculum for us, for the K-12 ecosystem. Bharat, as most of you would be aware, it's a constituent of NCERT, set up last year, and Bharat is performance assessment, review, and analysis of knowledge for holistic development. So this is a constituent body of NCERT, and ETS happens to be the proud partners, principal consultants in establishing Bharat in India. What's Bharat all about? Bharat is about setting up assessment standard framework to standardize the assessment outcomes of all the 64 school boards in India. Bharat is about creating a holistic progress scorecard. We talked about holistic assessment, but how do you really create a holistic progress scorecard or a report card for everybody studying in the school education in India. And that's what ETS is working day in and day out with NCRT, with Bharat team to really implement that in India. And I think from a holistic progress card, if you look at all the critical skills that we're talking about, the cognitive and behavioral skills that we are talking about, they are intertwined, they are segregated based upon the level of education. So at foundation, we're talking about awareness of surroundings. To creativity, we're talking about self-awareness, sensitivity, and creativity. And you can see all that on NCRT's website. The holistic progress card is already out for foundation, preparatory, and the middle school. It's there, it's been developed, it's there on the website. You can check that out, and it's under implementation as we speak. There was a brief remark about the Finnish higher education, and most of you would have had multiple such conversations already in terms of the value and some of those, I would say, transformational initiatives that Finnish higher education talks about at a broad level, about phenomena-based learning, about use of formative assessments instead of summative assessments, the expertise of teachers, the collaboration that teachers need to bring to the classroom day in and day out. I think these are very important elements, and I see a lot of schools actually implementing some of these into the curriculum, which is heartening to see even in India. But I think a lot more can be done. And just as an example, I was speaking to a Finnish teaching delegation, and one of the things that they interestingly told me was that, how do you teach seasons in India? In India, seasons is basically a chapter in the textbook, and you would go through from one chapter to another. They don't use that as a methodology. They teach a season as and when that season occurs. So if they are in spring, they'll talk about spring. And most of the learning happens outside the classroom in terms of what does spring really mean? What should be your dressing? What should be your life skills to survive when something happens in that spring as a season? What would be the flora and fauna of that spring as a season? So it's more experiential. I think lot is happening in India, but I think a lot more we can draw from some of these best practices and examples globally. NEP is I think NEP 2020 is the spinal cord, is the base or the foundation which is stitching all this together. And all of you are experts in terms of understanding and implementing NEP. So I'm no one to really talk about NEP in that context. But what I would like to draw attention of all of you is the last chevron, which is around assessments. And if you look at NEP 2020, it talks about prioritize holistic assessment, focus on skill development, emphasize critical thinking, and aim to reduce exam stress, which is more about formative assessments, which is more about holistic assessment.
What role school plays, the educators play, the teachers play, an entire golden triangle, I say. The parents, the management, the teachers, how they nourish child is really praiseworthy. With due respect to each and everyone, I look forward to the wonderful knowledge sharing in the upcoming panel. Sitting over the panel are esteemed dignitaries. They are the stalwarts of education who have probably years of experience down the line, and I feel there's almost around more than 55 to 60 years of experience on the panel today. So let us do the justice to it and make the most out of it. While we explore the opportunities today, it is not just that we discover the opportunities for the people in university or probably when they enter campus to corporate. It all starts beyond the classroom. Everyone wants to think out of the box today. Everyone wants to grab the word, even if it is 13-year-old. I'm talking about the government, which is providing us being the business blaster coach for elementary education, and the kind of work all the esteemed organizations have been doing, the startup robust ecosystem which it is prevailing today. It gives a goosebumps to university education, the kind of ecosystem school are giving today. So while moving ahead, I start with I'll say, wonderful lady sitting next to me. I'll say she's the epitome of education, and people look forward to ma'am and ma'am's institution. I have a take on opening remarks of the panel from ma'am itself. It has been a journey that you have been nurturing millions of students. What it takes, things changes, opportunities, come in. Definitely, pandemic went, many more challenges would come in, but the school education has surpassed it all. What remains, which actually nurturing the alpha generation?
How we innovate teaching. So who are Generation Alpha? They are the screenagers, as we call them. They've been born with the screen. They were born when Insta came, when the iPad was launched. So they're far more comfortable with the screen than they are. So they have millions of friends virtually, but I don't know how socially connected they are offline. They are materially very well endowed as compared to the others. They have their social acceptability, their ability to adapt is very different. I won't say it's not there, but it's different from the other generation. There's social media influencers, and they effectively, for their purpose at least, use social media and use the WhatsApp. They're more aware about the world than you and I were, or Generation Z was as well, because they're connected, across 24/7. They're just connected, and when they are not, then they are lonely. So they are not used to what we call boredom. They don't know it exists. It's all right to be bored and have nothing to do. They have a voice, and they're not unafraid to express their opinion. And they are fairly sorted in how they view their life thereafter and what they're looking for. They not necessarily have a view similar to what we did, but they're unafraid and they challenge the status quo. So when we look at Generation Alpha and when we look at how we modify or innovate our teaching practices, let's keep all of these in mind when we start working on that. Now I'll talk about the topic about Indian knowledge system and about innovative teaching. So what is, the NEP and the NCF have already culled out the curriculum, and there's a lot of stuff that is coming into the curriculum now. Some we are aware of, some we are not. And there is a lot of research going on. But it's not just about Vedic maths or about knowing certain shlokas. It's about, I don't know, for want of a better word, for the Bharatiyata. What are we as Indians, and what is our knowledge system? And it's evident from the kadha that your mother makes when the pollution is at a height, to the decisions on food to be cooked during festival time. What do we cook in summers? What do we cook in winters? Why should we not take frozen stuff? Those are all a part of the Indian knowledge system. There is a culture of research in India. There was a culture of research in India. And while we didn't share it as openly as the rest of the world or as the Western world, it still exists. So I think the Indian knowledge system is, like I said, not just about, it's about the everyday, what we see, what exists in our households, and what should be transferred to the next generation, especially Generation Alpha. Along with this also comes the culture and the values that India embodies, empathy, a sense of family and a sense of community. So if there was a wedding in the family, everyone contributed, and you just had a wedding. It wasn't a single person running the show.
The poet says that I have taken the road less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Now I think we are still we have again come at one of the crossroads where one side is victory, the other side is fulfillment. So if we choose the path to victory, it is finite. Yes, there will be competition, there will be excitement, we might win, people will come and cheer for us and go back home, and maybe we can do it all over again. But if we choose the path to fulfillment, it's a journey where more people will join us and inspire us. And as we move on in our life, we obviously have a finite life. Others will join into the crowd without us, without me, and that inspiration will continue.
Wide kind of, word, which everybody defines in their own word. So, success of any institution depend on, as I feel, depend on several things. One, what kind of, what kind of people you are going to raise. So as Ajit said, human behavior need to be addressed first. So I just wanted to say what the role of educational institutions are, what we people are doing, whether it is a school setup or higher education. See, our role is to produce good, responsible, employable citizens who will contribute in the society as far as the character building is concerned or GDP is concerned, starting from the society to the GDP of the country. So every child invests some 20 years of his young life in the education, starting from preschool to higher education, and what is the outcome of it that school or higher education institution need to ensure. If we are delivering that, if we are producing, if we are justifying the investment of their years, then the institution is successful. One thing. Second thing, see, the role of schools, role of preschool is to produce or to develop the children at basic level so that they can, be adjusted and they can be progressed well in the primary school level. And role of the school is to, collaborate with the higher education institution and to ensure whatever, student they are giving to the higher education institution, they are well, adjusted and groomed so that they can take up the courses or the stream what they can excel in. So success of any school, I believe is if the school is producing good citizens. One. Second, the child is capable to decide which course he or she is going to adapt after the grade 12, and which is for his life, not because the parents ने कहा कि इंजीनियर बन जाओ बेटा, या एक माहौल बना हुआ है कि IT वर्ल्ड today is IT is free. Yeah, child should we need to make an environment in the school so that child can decide him or herself. This is the good side of the any education which will be for me for life.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inputs. It's really, we talked upon school, we talked upon students' assessment, the overall learning system. But as I said, the teacher, when people introduce me as owner of schools and belonging to family-run schools in Delhi, or directly working with CBSE with Rev Up Life Skills and starting the startup ecosystem in India and overall in 65 countries with mentorettes, I just tell them that before all these designations, what come is a teacher. A teacher has a pivotal role in the life of the child, and somehow, definitely it has got the due recognition, but once a teacher, we all really want to, bring the change out. It's not just about the teaching subjects. Nowadays, it's all being upon the mentor. I ask each and every audience right here, be true to your heart. Do you remember one teacher which paved the way for you for what you are now, to be where you want to be? I was discussing in the tea break with sir, there's always, many people have talent, but there's we are very lucky enough that we have someone to tell us that yes, there's a spark in you and you have to go there. So it all belongs on the shoulder of, educator, a teacher. So moving to you, my dear Ms. Anjali, would love to, know upon what you feel. The role of teacher has been constantly evolving. So what you feel now it is, so that, we can ensure learning even beyond classrooms.
It is not the next thing, it is currently the thing, and I come from the subject of behavioral science. And Mr. Rathore, it was very interesting to know that students should know their what their purpose is. I would love to know how your schools help students to know what their purpose is. So what we do is our teachers are leaders. So we introduce the students to our teachers as leaders, and we train our teachers that every student in the classroom is a leader. The moment you do that, the perspective of teaching is different. The perspective of the student towards the teacher is different, because he's viewing the teacher who's teaching a leader, and the teacher is now has a bigger responsibility of helping the child discover what his purpose is. So we train teachers to ignite that spark in the students, and I wonder how many schools really do that for every subject, because a geography teacher goes in, teaches geography, but it would be great if teachers are introduced to students in a classroom as a leader in their particular field. That's when the respect increases. And very important, we use the pull strategy. What is the pull strategy? We are drawing the students towards themselves, to the education system. We are humans, and where does a plant, a seedling, grow towards sunlight, right? So every student he needs his space under the sun. Once he knows the purpose, he's going to grow towards that purpose. We help the student discover his purpose, and then we connect the different subjects that he's studying in classroom to that purpose. So none of my students withdraw from maths. I'm shocked that maths is even an option in the AI world. And I believe in one thing: be broad-minded.